Right, so let's have it. Here's one of the decks we are going to be playing this month. Now, this is a Gruul Poison Storm, and this is all Poison Storm. It is not. There's no Glisten or Elves, anything like that. This is a along the lines of a metagame Storm deck, so it's going to be given the poison counters, though, all the same. So you get one, have one. Enjoy, and let's get right into it. Our creature base is light, to say the least. And we have a very active sideboard as well. And before I get into this, I'd like to thank Aspiring Spike. His all-in Rot Priest was a big inspiration for this, as well as MTG Deckmaster's deck list. Both those, as you see, had a huge influence on this as I moved my Gruul Infect to a Gruul Poison Storm. So I call this deck Stormy with a chance of Infect. So let's talk about what's in it. And without further ado, we have our Dragon Lady here. So she's a 1 red. We get this Human Shaman. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. Delirium. As long as there are 4 or more cards among card types in your graveyard, Dragon's Rage Channeler gets +2/+2, has flying, and attacks each combat if able. And that is just wonderful. We're 1, 2, 3, of course 4. And here's the star of the show, Mr. Ven himself, the venerated Rot Priest. Father Infecticitis here. So Father Infecticitis here is a 1 green with Toxic 1. And Toxic, whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. And Toxic is when he attacks, in addition to regular damage, the attackee gets a poison counter. So there is that. And that is not like Infect, where Infect, you can pump something full of like do growth on something and make it big and then hit with more Infect, like a Glistener Elf being pumped up. That doesn't work with Toxic. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the man of the hour there. So Goblin and Archomancer. We are running 1 of these. We tried 2. I believe there's 4 of these in Aspiring Spikes build. Or maybe 2, but with 2, he became redundant. And this is a lightning rod for sure, because it is a target for removal, which is good. But we can use our breach lines to play it out of the graveyard, and each spell you cast that's red or green costs 1 less to cast. And then we are running 1 Spellskite in here. And as you see there, for a Phyrexian blue, you can change a target spell or ability to Spellskite. So this is going to stack with our Rot Priest. This can be used to protect our Rot Priest, and I found this is great for a blocker as well, being creature light as we are. So just 1 Spellskite. And let's get into the Funzo Dunzo here. Down to our... Alright, perfect. So, we have Mishra's Bauble. No introduction there. 1, 2, 3, a 4. We have the Underworld Breach. So for 1 and a red, Underworld Breach is overpowered. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost, plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast cards from your graveyard for their escape cost. Escape! At the beginning, at the end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. So we can go ahead and get wonderful things out of the graveyard. We're running 4 of those. We can get wonderful things out of the graveyard like Summoner's Pact here, which is essentially a Rot Priest for us. We can use this to grab a Spellskite if need be. Or, in addition, we can use Summoner Pact to get a our single copy of Goblin and Archomancer. And we are running, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Now, this is where my build gets a little different from the MTG Deckmasters, which, again, thank you for a certain card in here was a real, definitely I pulled from MTG Deckmasters list. So we have Mutagenic Growth here, and I went from 4 to 3 of these, just because our life is constantly being taken away by our fetch lands. So with Mutagenic, we're running 3 of these. This will protect our Rot Priest from lightning bolts, so no zappity. And essentially, this is a free way to target our Rot Priest, and we'll stack with our Storm Count. We're running 1, 2, 3 of those, which come in and out of the sideboard. And here comes a star of the show, Manamorphose. Now, I had some Wild Canters I was playing for a while, and I kicked Wild Canter the heck out of here. And I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 mana Morphos. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool and draw a card. That's a good way to get around a card we have, Blood Moon, in the sideboard. We are running 4 Desperate Rituals. For 1 and a red, you add 3, and it has Splice onto Arcane. If you're not familiar, as you cast an Arcane spell, you may reveal this card from your hand and pay its Splice cost. If you do, add this card's effects to that spell. So essentially, when we cast an Arcane spell, another Desperate Ritual, we can reveal this, pay its cost, and then get 3 more mana, and then essentially have this still to cast to create more. It's a wonderful card. It's essential in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Pyretic Ritual. The little brother or little sister, if you will, to Desperate Ritual, in my opinion, is add 3 to the mana pool. Very simple there. It's a 1 mana advantage, so you gain 1 mana. We're running 4 of those. An Abundant Harvest. Now, this is one. I ran 4 of these in here. And right now, the way I've sideboarded this, I have 1 and 2. Just 2 Abundant Harvests. Because I was getting, when I was running 4 in the deck, I run 3 in here now. 1 is sideboarded. I was getting Abundant Harvest up the wazoo. And I noticed just in my games that I was drawing them. And it's such a tight fit of anything in here. I just had to drop 1 Abundant Harvest. So it is in the sideboard. But Ground Rift we would never drop because this is essential. For 1 red, target creature without flying can't block this turn. Of course, we have the Storm. So this is going to be our best friend to our Rot Priest. And I use this in my Gruul Infect to clear a path for bumped up Glistener Elves. And then that would essentially trigger the Rot Priest as well. So that's how I was playing on my other deck list. We're running 4 Ground Rifts. And then for some added Storm, we can target our Rot Priest with this as well. We have Grape Shot. So for 1 and a red, Grape Shot deals 1 damage to any target. That can be our Rot Priest. We can quickly stack that up with that Storm ability. Now I will show you the land base, which is just 15. And this land base is a killer. And when I say it's a killer, it kills us. It eats our life up, but it doesn't really matter. It's not the worst. A life gain thing in this deck could be a thing. Like in Aspiring Spikes build, he has a couple life gain. Some Storm life gain, which is really cool, but I did not run it in my deck. Because I'm kind of going more like ride as close as I can to the edge and get that win. Turn 2 win, amazing. Turn 4 win, more reasonable. So Wooded Foothills, we're running... I didn't even talk about Stomping Ground. We have 4 Stomping Grounds, 4 Wooded Foothills, 1, 2, 3 Arid Mesas, a Misty Rainforest, a Verdant Catacombs, a Mountain, and a Forest. And I like to use these versions because if I'm looking for them with my fetches, I can just scroll through and I can find them right away by their border. I used to use a white and like white bordered lands for that in a lot of my decks, just to find them right away when you're fetching. So there's a neat little tip for you. And let's go into the sideboard real quick, because this is real exciting. We have as our companion, I should have brought this up, is Gigantha. So, I know. But late game, if the game goes on, Gigantha has done work. And honestly, I think Gigantha as a companion in this deck is great. And I didn't do anything. It's not like you're hurting yourself to not have Gigantha. You know, you're not going without a card or something. There's not something that I can think of that I'd put in here, you know, that Gigantha would get in the way of as a companion. So there's one slot there. And for like removal and creature heavy, we have Lightning Bolt. We have 1, 2, 3 Lightning Bolts. And if somebody else is running a burn or something where we need to protect our Rot Priest, we have 1, 2, 3 Veil of Summers. Now, this is MTG Deckmasters in his build, along with Boseiju. I saw this Destructive Revelry. And I've always been a huge fan of the card where you can destroy an enchantment or an artifact or a target artifact and enchantment. I'm having a brain fart here. I haven't had enough coffee today, apparently. Destructive Revelry, in any case, is the modern legal nerfed version of that, in my opinion. I did a little video about the card. I can't even remember. I can't. I'm just having a brain fart. Just one of those things. I've been reading too many books lately, I think. I'm reading a Cormac McCarthy and also reading a historical piece. It's very interesting. In any case, Destructive Revelry. MTG Deckmasters ran this, and I thought this was an excellent include for those artifact-heavy decks that you're seeing quite frequently now. We have one other copy of Grape Shot to go with our 3 copies of Grape Shot that we have. And a lot of people ran 3 Blood Moons, but we are just running 2 Blood Moons. We want to, running 3 of them would be great, but that place is just not there for him because of the mutagenic growth, which I really like in the deck and has pushed to get the wins and to protect the Rot Priest. Oh, there's that Abundant Harvest I was talking about. So my sideboard at Abundant Harvest is the colored one, and I use the etched ones, the ones that are always in the deck. Another little tip there. And then I got 2 Bousejus, which come in and out. And I do not remove lands to put these in, generally. Maybe I'll remove one fetch and put these both in for 16 lands then being in the deck. But never do I take out 2 to replace with the 2 Bousejus. So there's our sideboard. And there's the deck. What isn't in here and what I'll probably see in comments, if I get any comments on it, will be, why aren't you running Empty the Warrens? Well, guess what? I did run Empty the Warrens. And I didn't feel like it did enough work. Honestly, I didn't find a need to pop it out of the sideboard, so I was like, I'm going to try this. So I kept it in the main deck, and I ran it. And honestly, I was like, this just isn't doing the work for me. It's, I think, trying to add that is, another win condition. Just, even though it's Storm, it's not something that, it may end up in the deck, but as is now, it isn't. So, for what it's worth, not running Empty the Warrens at this point, because honestly, I've got those mutagenics in there, and they do such good work protecting the Rot Priest. I don't know what I would actually remove from them to put those in. But this is video 1 of probably 3. So this deck has been doing fairly well. And I like Storm, and I know Storm has suffered a lot. And I had a lot of the cards to do this. So we're going to be doing, here's another deck. This is the secret one. We haven't revealed this yet, but this month is our other deck. We're going to be play testing with lots of different groups and all around. But this one's a secret surprise. However, we're going to be doing a few more videos. We're going to do some gold fishing with the Rot Priest here. And I've been experimenting with Gruul Poison Storm. I don't know as much as everybody who has experimented with it, but pretty dang close. And I really like the direction of MTG Deckmasters and Aspiring Spike, so I made some hard cuts to this deck as I was playing it. And it was painful, and I'm happy I did it, though. And truly enjoying it. So please join me as I do some deck explanations, and then we'll do some, after our deck explanation, we'll do some gold fishing, because it's popular to do with these. People like it. They like my gold fishing. I see other videos and gets a lot of views. So people must like it. I don't do it for the views. I do it because people like it. So go ahead and tune in. And what are we at? 14 minutes. So anyways, I said I was reading a book. Reading Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian. It's a rather gruesome, hard to read book at points, but I must say it's beautifully written and almost like a neo-biblical style, as it were. Been reading that book. It's not a very long book. It's about 320 pages. I'm about done with it. I got about 42 pages, I think. And yeah, they say it's like a modern classic, and it is hard to believe it was written in 1985. I would have just as easily believed the book was written in 1885. Descriptions of the night desert, washed in moonlight, quite beautiful. And Don't know why I brought it up. Just anybody likes to read. Blood Meridian. It's a brutal book in a lot of ways, but also a beautiful book and expertly written. But anyways, I think we're at 15. There we go. So join me. We'll be doing more fun things this month and some fun openings as well. Have a good one, and thank you so much for watching.